Our next speaker is Aimee Smith. Aimee is an award-winning choreographer and dance artist inspired by art's capacity to help us make sense of the world. She works at the intersection of arts and sustainability. She's recently completed a master's in sustainability and climate policy at Perth University and sees her diverse and cross-disciplinary practice as vital to the sustainability challenges ahead. Please join me in welcoming Aimee.
Fingers crossed this technology comes through. Had a little bit of difficulty. I wanted to show you, being an artist, some beautiful images and video to go with what I wanted to present, but we've had a bit of Mac PC communication issues. Fingers crossed. As you just heard, I'm a choreographer and dance artist, and you may be asking, as many people do sort of ask me, sometimes overtly, sometimes subtly, is why have I, as a perfectly capable human being and an intelligent woman, turned into a dropout, job-bludging, arty-farty type? Isn't that wasting your time? I've got a master's in sustainability. Shouldn't I be working to change political policies or find solutions for the food crises and peak water, peak food? Or more politely, and the way that I guess phrase it to myself when I have those moments of self-doubt is, why in this age of ecological crises, social crises, economic crises, do I, as an engaged and concerned citizen, choose to dedicate myself to art? So tonight, in this brisk 10 minutes, I wanted to share with you my reasons for doing that, and give you a couple of examples of some work I have been making that is attempting to do that and fulfill these reasons why I believe passionately in the arts as a tool for activism. And also, hopefully, there's a few slideshows whilst I talk that hopefully will illuminate some of the things that come out of my mouth. So, the reasons why I choose art as my medium for activism. Reason number one is that art and cultural activities, songs, dance, drawings, storytelling, have always been the way through which human beings have made sense of the world, the way that we have shared and questioned, confirmed and shaped our values, our collective stories and our visions for the future. Therefore, I believe that right now we need art more than ever as we face these ecological and social crises of our time. These are crises that require really deep moral and ethical investigation, and they require paradigm shifts, which is why I think we need to be working with our collective stories. We need to create and participate in the songs, the dances, and the storytelling experiences that allow us to engage in shared conversations about these issues. Reason number two, we have the facts. Never before have we had so much information at our fingertips and so much confirmation that we are kind of in a dire place. And yet we aren't acting anywhere near as fast as many people suggest we need to be. And why is this? Because people, I believe, only really act on an issue when they are emotionally engaged with it. And we're not doing anywhere near enough to engage or acknowledge our emotions on these issues. I certainly feel in myself sometimes a really deep melancholy, a desire to cry over a sense of ecological loss that we have, and you can see that it's emotional to even bear that to an audience because it's not socially acceptable. Sometimes I have a desire to curl up in fear of what might be if we don't act. And at other times, staring at the wild, beautiful ocean, I have an immense joy and a celebration of what I'm part of. So how do we effectively deal with this collective pain, and when do I get to express those emotions, or when do we get to express those emotions? And I know I'm not alone in these feelings. I sense that people are starting to talk about them more, and we're starting to accept that we need to have these conversations. But I really feel like we need to provide a means and a space for people to reflect and to listen to their emotional intelligence, their intuition even, and to talk together about it. And art and cultural practices are one such form. Through my art making, my main focus is to create opportunities for audiences to experience and reflect on these important issues of our time, and where they stand, to work out where they stand on these issues, and to start a social conversation about them. In other words, we need to stop, reflect, feel and talk. I make art because I think it's an ideal forum for us to do this. Reason number 3, the next vital step from my perspective is to also, once we know the facts and we've had a chance to reflect and connect with our emotions, is to start to engage our imagination, to imagine alternative futures or think about what alternatives we really want. It's no good hearing the depressing facts and acknowledging our melancholic feelings and leaving it there. We need to take all of that and turn it into a productive energy by engaging our imaginations and our hope. This is really vital, I believe, in empowering people to act. And again, this is something that art and creativity is really good at. Art is great at working and strengthening the imagination muscle. And finally, reason number 4. Choosing to work in the arts is choosing to tell the rest of the world that I value creativity, that I value emotion, that I value knowledge of the human body, that I value intuition, that I value space for reflection, that I value the place of idleness in our ever-busying world, and that I value the human spirit. A career choice can be an active ethical choice, as Jo also pointed out. And it's a choice or a way for me to feel like I can influence the system a little, to bring and celebrate and value more of what I think is important and vital to our future. So it's all good to preach these brilliant theoretical ideas, but how does it work in reality? What does it look like, smell like, feel like? And so to finish, I just wanted to share with you a couple of projects that I've been working on in the last couple of years, and I'll try and get you a video of them. This is the technical changeover. Oh, can I turn the volume down? Didn't try that one, did I? There we go. Okay. So this is a video of a work I've recently made called Wintering. In late 2010, I was really blessed with the opportunity to go to the Arctic as part of this project called the Arctic Circle Project, where I spent 18 days there with 18 other artists from around the world, making work about this magnificent space and making work that addressed issues of our time. And I went there with this kind of expecting the experience to solidify my political position on climate change and that would feed back into the work that I made. But when I got there, I was immensely overwhelmed by my emotional reaction to that space. Both its magnificence and the sadness I felt there too. So I was struggling with these contradictions of beauty and loss, fragility, of hope and fear. And I really acknowledged a great sadness in myself in that space, and I realised this is what I wanted to come back and offer in a work. You know, as I said earlier, it's these feelings that we really talk about that I realised there was this space and some room for art to be working in that medium. So this work is not a didactic in its message, it's much more meditative and immersive as a work. And ask the audience to consider what it is to live in a changing and disintegrating world, or to sit with these tensions of beauty and destruction, of hope and fear. And yeah, so this is Wintering. It recently premiered at the State Theatre Centre in Perth. The second work I want to... Hopefully this is going to work. Great. The second and last work I wanted to just show you is called the Futures Project. And it's not so much of a dance work but as an art. It's an art project that engages the community and ignites imagination through a structured creative process. This project grew from me asking myself if my art practice could in some way be transformative, if it could be action-oriented, and if it could engage imagination and hope. could I begin to get participants and audiences to reimagine the future and feel empowered in their role and place in that future? So what the project does is invite people to share or teach the artist, me, a skill or a piece of knowledge that they think might be useful in surviving or shaping the future. This skill or knowledge is taught to the artist, and wherever possible it's practiced during the exchange. And the focus is on the lesson and the exchange, but of course during it, a conversation is had about the reasons behind these people's choices. This video shows 12 such interactions or lessons that took place whilst running the project in Taiwan in 2011. As you can see, someone over there is chopping up cucumber, and they wanted to teach me how to cook with cucumber because they felt that our food choices were going to be much more limited in the future and we would have to go back to very natural ways of eating, and we didn't really know how to cook with cucumbers anymore. Another person is about to go above that, is about to go on his head. He wanted to teach me how to be upside down because he thought we needed new perspectives to know how to be upside down in the world. So some were really practical and some were much more metaphorical, values-based ideas. So in the Futures Project, the artist becomes a kind of human encyclopedia and a storehouse of knowledge, whilst the work becomes a vehicle for sharing, collecting and beginning. I see this project is a way to face our fears, to articulate our dreams, to celebrate resilience and what we already do have, and by taking what we have now and pairing that with a sparked imagination. It's a small project, but it's something. It's a beginning, I guess. And so to sum up, I believe we need to stop, reflect, feel, talk and imagine if we are to create the deep transformative changes necessary in the face of the ecological, social and economic crises we face. I make art because I think it's an ideal forum for these things to take place. But I do also believe that there is a desperate need for art to reconnect to our everyday life, to get out of the sometimes isolated world of galleries and theatres, and we need to make artistic and creative experiences part of our daily life. So artists have to start working, collaborating and engaging across disciplines. But at the same time, we people have to start actively seeking art and creative experiences. And I don't just mean sitting down to MasterChef at 7:30 on a Sunday night. But I would encourage you, as I finish off, to go and see a play this weekend that might challenge you or give you space to reflect. Join a choir and feel connected to others through your voice. Draw a picture of your vision for the future and pin it on your fridge. Or last but not least, put on your favourite song and dance for all the joyfulness being alive on this planet brings. Thank you.
Thank you, Aimee. That was pretty interesting. I think that's something unlike we've ever had. Would you agree? That was amazing. Our last speaker this evening is